2 weeks since the start of a partial government shutdown, 2 days before a deadline for the U.S. debt ceiling. Some political leaders say they're closer on a deal. Yesterday, one possibility was offered by Republican Senator Susan Collins and Democratic Senator Joe Manchin. It would set aside funds to end the shutdown, increase the debt ceiling, and address parts of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. That's been one focus of the debates in Washington. Nothing is finalized. Any deal would have to be passed by the House and the Senate and then signed by the president. But Senate leaders say they're feeling more positive.
I'm very optimistic that we will reach an agreement that's reasonable in nature this week.
We've had an opportunity over the last couple of days to have some very constructive exchanges of views about how to move forward. Those discussions continue, and I share his optimism that we're going to get a result that will be acceptable to both sides.
One position you wouldn't expect to find on an NFL team, an infectious disease specialist. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are working with one to deal with something that's now affected 3 players, MRSA. It's a nasty little bacterium that might look like a pimple or spider bite on someone infected. MRSA stands for methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. What that means is that it's hard to cure because regular antibiotics don't phase it. 3 players in Tampa Bay have been diagnosed with a MRSA infection. They're cornerback Jonathan Banks, guard Carl Nix, and kicker Lawrence Tynes. We don't know yet how they got MRSA, but one way it can spread is through skin-to-skin contact. People can also get it when they touch something with the bacteria on it. That's more likely in places with shared equipment, so think hospitals, gyms, and locker rooms. Depending on the severity of the infection, it is possible to continue playing after being treated. Carl Nix did that before his infection recurred. It's not necessarily life-threatening if treated, and the NFL has dealt with dozens of cases before. Ways to prevent MRSA spread include washing your hands, showering right after exercising, but without sharing soaps or towels, keeping your cuts covered, and washing and drying your workout clothes. As for the Bucs, they've had their locker room sanitized, and they say they'll do everything they can to stop MRSA from spreading any further.
Is this legit? Islam is the world's 2nd largest religion. It's true. Christianity is the largest religion, and Islam is 2nd largest, with around 1.6 billion Muslims worldwide.
Some of those Muslims are gathering in Saudi Arabia right now. They're in the city of Mecca for an annual event called Hajj. Hajj is a pilgrimage, a religious journey to Mecca, and making that journey is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, one of the religion's fundamental practices. Most years, about 2 million Muslims perform Hajj. It involves several days of detailed rituals. Some of them take place around the Kaaba. That's the large cube-shaped structure you see right here. It's a shrine, and for Muslims, it's the most sacred spot on earth. Every Muslim who is physically and financially able to go is supposed to perform Hajj at least once in his or her life. Those who do can add Al-Hajj or Haji to their name. Your economics classes teach you about supply and demand. Part of that concept says if there's demand for something and the supply goes down, the price will go up. If the product is something like fish, then a drop in supply can have an environmental impact along with an economic one. In Hong Kong, some high-tech fishermen want to resupply by raising fish indoors.
The catch of the day landed at Hong Kong's Aberdeen Fish Market. While this huge grouper is set to make a local dining table groan, the city's live fish industry is facing leaner times.
Business? It's quite hard to do business now because there is not much supply. There are just not that many fish in the sea.
Yet the demand for live seafood in Hong Kong and mainland China continues to grow. Each day, boats unload around 30 tons of fish at this market, with wild fish coming from hundreds of miles away.
Actually, there aren't many fish from local waters. I think less than 5% of them. Only around 20% of our fish stocks come from the sea. Most of them, around 80%, are from fish farms.
Fish farms like this one have thrived with the decline of wild fish stocks. They are starting to attract some big fish. In a high-rise in the city, the science of fish farming is being perfected.
So there's about 80,000 tons of water sitting on the 15th floor of an industrial building.
Ocean Ethics is operating an environmentally friendly system to grow and keep live fish indoors. Their operation looks like a scene from a science fiction movie, with the blue light simulating the deep sea.
The ones we're growing at the moment, the most expensive, would be selling for about $90 to $100 US a kilogram wholesale. Price has been ratcheting up on 10 to 15% per annum for the past 5 or 6 years.
And that means good business. Live fish are a $1 billion a year industry.
Hispanic Heritage Month wraps up today. The celebration recognizes the contributions of Hispanic and Latino Americans. Christian Figueroa is a good example. He's been a professional opera singer since he was 16. In this installment of Career Connections, you're going to learn about his journey. First, listen to him sing in this YouTube video.
Just another rumba.
Hi guys, my name is Christian Figueroa. I'm from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and I'm a professional opera singer. At an early age, it started seeping into my body, into my bones, and I became a fan of classical music. I became a fan of jazz, but music appreciation in general. And so that took me to middle school choirs, middle school performances, church choirs, high school performances of all types. There's different obstacles in life. Yes, I've had several, but I had really good advice when I was actually graduating from college. I paid attention to this long speech, and I remember the speaker saying, "You will all fail. But those of you who get right back up and continue to go forward will have a career." You know what I love about my job is having the opportunity to express myself. This is one of my favorite arias from the opera Così fan tutte by Mozart. It's called Un'aura amorosa. Un'aura amorosa. Saludos a todos. La mejor sugerencia que les puedo dar a todos ustedes que quieren seguir la carrera musical o quieren seguir sus sueños en las artes es siempre sigue hacia adelante, siempre persevera. Del nostro tesoro. I wish you all the very best of luck in your pursuit of your dreams.
You just never know who or what might show up in our roll call. Today definitely has some unique mascots. We're going to ease into it with the Dragons from Stranahan High School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But over in Texas, we've got the Skeeters from Mesquite High in Mesquite, Texas. Dots might sound a little confusing as a mascot, but it all makes sense when we tell you they're from Polka High School in West Virginia. Yeah, the Polka Dots. They're making their mark on today's roll call. West Orange High in Florida gets its own segment. The school is getting some media attention because of its new homecoming king and queen.
He doesn't have a worry in the world, and he just is never in a bad mood, ever.
She's a beautiful girl, not just outside, but inside also.
They're talking about Simone Adkins and Trezwan Bubba Hunter, West Orange's homecoming king and queen. When they won their crowns, district officials said it was the first time they could think of that two students with Down syndrome were named king and queen. Their teacher said he couldn't be more proud of the school, and the quarterback, who was also in the running for king, said homecoming is about bringing people together and having fun. He says that's what Bubba and Simone do.
We're not doing this because we feel bad for them or anything like that. We're doing this because we genuinely like Bubba and Simone.
Last week, we featured a dog versus 3 chickens. Didn't seem like a fair fight. That means this bout should be really one-sided. That crab knows it's fighting outside its weight class, right? I don't know which is more embarrassing for the dog, being featured on YouTube or being shown up by a crab on YouTube. Maybe the dog's regular sparring partner didn't show up. The crab may be a mismatch on paper, but it'll do in a pincher. Maybe the crab is just trying to rope the dog in. If so, it's playing an elaborate shell game. Maybe it can go 8 rounds. Okay, 9. But if it thinks it can last any longer once that dog decides to let loose, it's just barking up the wrong tree. Hopefully those puns don't put you in a crabby mood. If so, we'll claw our way back tomorrow. Have a great day.